Thank you for joining us today. So let's begin our session with the wonderful quote. The only way to do our best work right now is to work well together. So for starting a new chapter of learning, I, Divya Jain, being your host for today's event, wants to extend a warm greetings and good morning to all of you present here. I hope you all are doing amazing. So on behalf of the whole SEMS family, I welcome you all for today's international webinar on the topic COVID, AI and job. And to add our guest of honor and today's speaker, Gurneet Singh. It is a great honor to have you with us. We are grateful for your presence, sir. So before I proceed, let me take a brief moment for the introduction of my organization. SEMS Welfare Foundation is a non-profit entity established to work in the areas of education, social welfare, women empowerment, skill development and entrepreneurship, livelihood generation and employability, health, research, culture, international cooperation, sports, environmental protection, or any other similar sectors. We promote healthy lives, a balanced and active community, and strong businesses. Now, let me introduce our today's speaker to you all. Gurneet Singh is currently working to advance his knowledge in the fields of artificial intelligence and machine learning as well as public speaking. This combination enables him to fill his presentations with fresh and interesting material. As an AI or ML enthusiast with a passion for exploring new technologies, he is always out on the look for excitement projects and opportunities to expand his knowledge and skills. He has a strong sense of responsibility when it comes to teamwork and leadership roles when needed. Yes, sir.
Thank you to SEMS Foundation for organizing this event, this webinar. And my name is Gurneet Singh, everyone. And I hope you are all doing great, especially after the COVID times. And I hope that your family is also doing great. I am an artificial intelligence and machine learning enthusiast, and I'm also researching in the same field. And right now, I am honored to stand in front of you and dive it into the field of COVID, AI, and jobs in this international webinar. So I have created a presentation for all of you so that we can just look for what is happening right now and how can we engage with this. I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So as you can see on my top on your screens that the title is COVID, AI and jobs, and we all are struggling for the after effects of the COVID. And right now AI has also introduced many such things that are making jobs a really difficult task for everyone. Some of us are struggling to find new jobs, while the other are also struggling to get into the industry. And I can already relate how all of these things are related to each other. So starting with the COVID first, the COVID started, or I can say it was noticed in the late 2090s and the early 2020s in countries like China, Thailand, and Japan. Although it was a very minor thing at that time, later in March 2020, it was declared a global pandemic. Also, because of this COVID, many companies were forced to shut down and employees were forced to work from home. And this was a new concept for most of us because we were habitual of going into the company and then working there, sitting at the desk. But due to this pandemic, people started to work from home and contribute to the organizations. The major thing happened in the COVID-19 was the supply chain disruptions and economic contraction. This resulted in the crash of stock markets, so they were stopped. And also employees were given less remuneration than their normal ones. So that means you were getting a less salary than your normal cutoffs. As a result, 35 small and medium enterprises were closed in India, and more than 200,000 businesses were closed in the US because of this. The main reason was because not every company can run from work from home, especially those dealing with the hardware components or such. The unemployment was also at peak at April 2020. 23.5% unemployment rate was found in India only, and this was contributed by the layoffs and companies being shut down. More than 250,000 employees were laid off in the March 2020 in India, UK, and US altogether. And still, after 3 years of COVID, we can see daily that companies are layoffing employees. And I will tell you the reason later on in this slide. If this wasn't enough, then the world faced post-COVID scenarios. The biggest was the hybrid work models introduced. So that means it was your choice whether you want to work from home or you want to join the office. Or there was the strategy for working 3 days at home and 3 days in the office. Then the layoffs are still continued. Another thing to notice was that companies, in order to promote things like social distancing and also to promote layoffs, actually, they introduced automation in their industries. So this increased by several folds after 2020. And right now, also, you can see that Another part of the layoffs is this automation. Then, thanks to the healthcare sector that we are still in this webinar, and a major focus was also given to the healthcare sector to improve it by several folds in case any other pandemic occurs in the future. And hats off to every country, every healthcare worker that has contributed in this. Then now we also have the opportunities in the supply chain improvements. That means we have to update the current supply chain, make it more resilient, so that in case any such pandemic occurs in future, the work that the world is doing is not stopped. Then there is also this small factor which is being found in many employees, that is the increased case of mental illness and also physical illness. So imagine sitting for 2.5 years at your home doing work at your ease, and suddenly you get a call that you have to join the office from tomorrow physically. And majority of the population already started suffering from obesity because you are just sitting at your home and doing nothing. So that means it made a very huge impact in the presence of employees in an organization. Now, coming to the second part of my presentation, that is the artificial intelligence. So in after 2020, the artificial intelligence also increased by several folds, and some of the main things were your chat experience, that the chat GPT. I will cover later in this slide. Another thing was the automation industry and artificial intelligence, by mean that it is a very huge factor right now. And a good example would be automated guided vehicles were introduced, and this was used by a very, I would say, developing countries in order to ship the materials from one place to another. Delivery robots are a good example of such. Surveillance drones were also introduced because you cannot send your security guards everywhere, so you need drones for covering up maximum of the area. And also there were lockdowns, so no one was allowed to get out. So at that time, surveillance drone created a lot of impact and opportunity. Robots such as assembly, welding, and packaging. So this all comes from the manufacturing department, especially the automobile industry and the packaging industry, dealing with the hardware stuff. Automated kiosk is also a good example of artificial intelligence. And for those of you who don't know, kiosk is a small stand or a small retail store from where you can get small or individual services like a packet of chips or even tickets. So automated ticket vending machine is a very good example of this. In India, outside the metro station, you can already see a ticket vending machine which gives you the ticket to your respective locations. Small booths from Cashify, where you can sell your old phone for money, is also a good example, which analyzes your phone and then tells you for how much you can sell it. Now coming to ChatGPT and its family. The major impact of ChatGPT, or I would say more than 55% of the impact of ChatGPT was used to employ in customer service and communication. So the next time you're talking to a chatbot, there's a huge probability that it is using ChatGPT at its base. And chatbots like these often used to communicate thoroughly and later on resolve your queries to a human. But right now, ChatGPT is taking care of most of these. Then ChatGPT is trained by us humans. So there is a great chance that it is biased and unethical at the same time. And this is a potential disadvantage of ChatGPT that we might have to face in future. Things like this AI and ChatGPT, they are used to make the workflow more streamlined, and also routine tasks. So by routine task, it means that the task which needs to be done again and again. And I'm sure that most of us humans will get tired because it really takes a mental toll on us when you are doing the same thing again and again. Even eating the same food for a couple of days will take a mental toll on us, and we will look out for more opportunities. Then there is an increased opportunity in the AI development, because remember that AI was made by humans and it needs to be managed by the humans again. And because of this AI as well, we have unemployment rate. So there are two things contributed to the unemployment. One is the artificial intelligence, and second is the COVID. And because of this, we are still facing a layoffs. That means humans are getting replaced at many sectors by this artificial intelligence. Now, coming back to the ChatGPT, it was first developed by the OpenAI, and it is still in development. It comes under the category of large language models. That means it has been trained on a very large data set, and also at the same time, it uses the phrases used by us humans to communicate with us. So it uses the best of both worlds to give you the results. The thing about ChatGPT is that it become popular, but on the other hand, it is not a unique project. There are many large language models already available in the market, and before also ChatGPT, large language models were available. But ChatGPT became popular because it was made available to the public, and the best part is that it was learning from the public rather than from a small set of researchers only. There are many applications based on ChatGPT as well, and they use ChatGPT as its base using the APIs. You can always check out huggingface.com, which is a huge data set of such things. And a big good example that I have recently made is the Healthcare Pro GPT, which gives you the results and queries regarding healthcare. And I have made this project a couple of months back in an hackathon. Another thing about ChatGPT is that it adapts to the user chats. So if you are talking it for a too long period of time, it will understand your behavior, and then it will give out the queries as per your requirements. And there's a thing as well that one time will reach then when the outputs from the ChatGPT will become at the peak. So no matter how much you ask the same question again, the results will always be the same. And another thing is that you can always force the ChatGPT to change its answer. So that is a potential disadvantage again. Now, here are some of the examples of the AI that is being used nowadays. Some of the most famous ones. Tesla, starting with Tesla, it has used robotics in its manufacturing plant to automate the process of making cars. And Amazon has also introduced Amazon Go. So that gives a cashier-less experience to you. That means you can always head on to the Amazon Go store, buy your stuff, and then move out. And you will get a receipt of the same products that you have bought in your Amazon app. So that is good thing that is still in development, and there are some flaws in it, but I'm sure it will take place of cashier stores in a couple of years. Blue River, an organization working in the agriculture department, has used AI powered robots for spraying herbicides on the plants as and when required, and it is automated, so that means the farmers don't need to take tension of when the plants need herbicides and such things. For those of you who don't know, Duolingo is an app from where you can learn many languages, and I'm also using that. Duolingo uses this artificial intelligence to personalize the experience of the user and also personalize their courses as requirements. So if you are a slow learner, it will make courses according to that, and if you're a fast learner, it will just keep on jumping the unrequired tasks. Coca-Cola uses this AI for the marketing and the advertising sector. So the next time you are seeing an advertisement of Coca-Cola on TV, there's a huge chance that it has been generated by the artificial intelligence. Well, that was a good part that AI played in the sector. And now coming to the jobs and how COVID and AI both are taking over the jobs. First of all, we will look into the current scenario of these jobs. Continued layoffs. That is because during the COVID period, when everyone was working from home, organizations were able to evaluate the minimum workforce they need to run the company, and they use this minimum amount to lay off the rest of the employees. That is a very sad news because every one of us are here to feed our families, and we are also looking for a better future. So layoffs were a big hit to everyone, and also there are companies collaborating with the AI to make sure that their work is more automated and streamlined rather than anyone making mistakes. And after the COVID as well, industries are being reshaped. The current systems are being strengthened again because of the hit from COVID. And also, to meet several demands across worldwide, the companies are also adapting themselves to new situations. Jobs are being redefined. Nowadays, companies are looking for more focused individuals on cognitive and creative skills, because at the end, companies want to develop products which can appeal to the customer and stay creative. Then there is the collaboration with the AI. So that means if you are able to become a person which can work with the AI rather than just AI working alone, then I think you have a better chance of getting job in today's world. Digitalization of services. So right now the services are being focused more and more, and everything that can be shifted onto the service based, onto the software based industry is being done, because a software industry is one such that is the least hit by the COVID. And right now the industries are being data driven, so every data you generate goes into the server and that is used by the organizations. So the ad you are seeing or the products you are listing, everything comes under this data driven services. And right now these are also being digitalized by several margin. Coming down to the opportunities that lies in this whole scenario for you or for anyone who is looking for a change in job or who is looking to enter any such industries, especially the students working in the placements. First of all, what you need to do is upskill your current portfolio. That means you need to add one or two a couple of skills that can highlight you from the others. And a prompt engineering is one such example, where you are able to control ChatGPT on your fingertips. And it is a very prominent example, I would say, that is being used by today's companies, because it is required. ChatGPT has taken over the companies, but you need to manage, you need to look out for the perfect results from it. It cannot give you the perfect results in just a single line. So you need to work on that, and this is where prompt engineering comes. Then collaborate with AI for a better streamlined workflow. So if you are an employee, you can partially automate your workflow using AI and partially do the work by yourself. And this is something that companies are always look out for, because this also tells you how much creative you are. Then AI based products by the startups. And let me tell you, if you are one of the creative thinkers and you have something in the mind, you should surely join a startup, because startups are all about building new products from scratch. And right now, AI based startups are on a rise. They are taking over the world by storm. And if you are someone working in the field of AI, then these startups are the thing for you. And as I've already told, that artificial intelligence is unethical and biased towards your results. So you need experts for them. And if you're an expert, the company will always hire you. AI engineers and data scientists are also having a good scope nowadays, because ChatGPT needs AI researchers to work upon, and data scientists use the data generated by the humans to streamline the workflow, to generate what could be the next thing, to predict the next model that they can approach. So I think that's it from my side, and let's head over to the question answers. And if you have any questions, just let me know, and you can always connect with me onto the LinkedIn.
Wow, what a wonderful knowledge given by you, sir. I hope our audience learned many new things from this session. Once again, I would like to thank you for joining us and sharing your experience, your precious time and knowledge with us. Sir, there are a few questions which our audience wants to be answered. So, with your permission, shall we start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sir. So, the first question is, how can AI be leveraged to enhance job search and recruitment process, especially in a post-pandemic world?
So we are indirectly talking about the AI HRs, that means artificial intelligence human resource hirers. And by that, I mean that if you are thinking that AI will hire your employees next, that means we are still away quite far from it. Right now, we are still not looking at it. We are still looking at a more generalized AI which can do specific tasks. If you have heard about Boston Dynamics, then they're making robots that can do specific tasks one at a time. And for AI to hire humans or to hire more AI, it is still not possible. And AI needs many such iterations, and it is always the decision of the HR to hire what kind of employee they need and what kind of employee they are looking for. And AI does not know it right now. So even if you give AI a set of questions that you need to sort out the candidates based on this list, it will be, I would say, a direct answer. And it won't look out for more such skill. It will always look out for the small criteria that you have given to it. And if the hiring process is done by the HR, then many such things as your soft skills and your the technical skills, your knowledge, your speaking attitude, all of the such things are always into the mind of the HR. So for AI to hire people for the jobs, I think this is something which we can achieve, but not right now, in the next decade or so.
Thank you, sir. My next question will be, in what ways has AI technology been utilized during the pandemic to address challenges in healthcare, remote work, and job security?
So starting with the healthcare first, AI was able to generate some of the results. The Google, if you search any disease on the Google, it will give you some result, but at the end there is also a note that you need to consult a physical doctor for such issue. And in the healthcare sector, I believe that AI is still yet to play an important role. Even during the COVID times, it wasn't able to affect it. And coming down to the other sectors, AI, I feel that it has contributed, but not by a significant margin. If you're talking about the hardware industry, once dealing with the assembly, the packaging, or shifting products from one place to the another, or building automobiles or such things, AI has already contributed. But if you think about the software industry, it is still away from it. You can already check that ChatGPT can write some codes for you. It can already solve some numerical problems for you. But the thing is, those are always not accurate. The codes are not always perfect, and the mathematical results are also not great. You can always force ChatGPT or the AI to change the result, and it will do so. So I feel like having an opinion on the ChatGPT or AI having its own opinion is not a good thing, because we don't want Terminator to come into the world right now, and we want to stay away from that. So I think that's my answer.
It was very effective for our audience. Thank you, sir, for answering these questions. Again, thank you all for attending today's webinar. And if you have any additional questions, you can contact us by email or telephone. We are happy to provide you additional support to you. Thank you so much for cooperating. So stay connected to us for new learnings. I, Divya Jain, being your co-host for the day, signing off. Have a wonderful day. Thank you everyone for joining us.